when we go back to the Genesis account, and I'm just telling people that it doesn't matter whether I use the scripture in a symbolic manner or figurative, or whether we take it in a absolute reality factor as a true account. I will, of course, favor it being both true and symbolic. It's there for messages. There's many messages in the Bible and in the scripture, but anybody that's telling you that the scripture is an allegory, it's an absolute allegory, they're fools. These people have not done the research. They think they have, but their ego's got in the way because they have this problem grasping that there is a creator above them that expects something from them as their creator. So they believe they can still manipulate and make their own decisions as their own God. So when people are talking about the Bible as an allegory, absolutely all the way through, there is no historical record of the Bible. It's just all based on metaphors and parables and illustrations, and there was no reality in there. There was no real events. That's completely erroneous to factual proof. So, and we're not going to spend this video trying to go down that. But when we look at the Garden of Eden and the first sin, which led to what we call debt, there was no debt in the world of man until he sinned, when he entered into allegiance to a lie and a fiction and treason against the harmony of truth from God. So when Adam and Eve sinned, God comes into the garden, of what does he see? They've actually covered up and have placed fig leaves over themselves, thinking that God wouldn't know what their privates look like. But they weren't really private, they were very public before they covered them up. So they actually placed a garb over themselves. And therefore, that's when the garbage all starts. Because man before the sin was timeless, like God. Man was made in the image of God, eternal. God doesn't make something in his image. He didn't make animals in his image. He made man in his image. And therefore, man's purpose was to be timeless, as God was. He was a unique creation that had the eternal breath of life of God in it. So therefore, as long as that eternal breath of life was in there, they would be as eternal as God was. Well, when they sinned and they covered up, again, I put us back to this word, the garbage started. And if you look at what you're seeing around you from the world of man, the legal system is based on garbage. The lawyers are full of garbage. They promote garbage. They cover up something that's not even real. It's just, we were timeless. So there, age is a very open-ended subject at that point. Had man not sinned, he would be timeless. So there, he would be ageless as God. The minute man sinned, the hourglass turned over and there was a time involved. And God created a timeline of giving man the ability to prove that he really could not rule himself without his creator. So he allowed man to go down that direction. Now we're dealing with the garbage. It's interesting that the government department that handles the garbage of man, consumers, is called the Ministry of Consumer and Corporate Affairs, which is the part of the Registrar General's office for the birth registry and government legal services that operate it. So the lawyers that operate the legal world of man without God basically control garbage. And if you haven't seen enough garbage going on the streets every day, that should wake you up that our world is destined for doom if it continued without divine intervention. because that's all man produces in the world of sin is garbage. The whole manufactured evidence before us, from operating down the world of value and money, produces garbage. So when we look at Samuel Johnson's dictionary, and you can find this, it's a little excerpt book, though I think online I've been told that actually the complete first edition is online. I'm not absolutely certain. I haven't verified that myself, but I have heard from speaking with certain people that it is. So you have to check it for yourself. But I do have a small book that was available at the time. It may be still available in the bookstores, but it's Samuel Johnson's dictionary. And it's just excerpts. So they've taken various ones of the original first edition and placed it in a book form. And I'm going to read you the definition out of 1755 from Samuel Johnson on what a consumer is. Consumer, out of Samuel Johnson's dictionary of 1755, is one that spends, wastes, or destroys anything. Now, they've certainly given you a thing, which is an inanimate thing, an inanimate title that represents age, and that's why everything's pack-aged. It's not really what's inside, it's what's on the outside. Everything's artificial on the outside because the real, true product is from God, but they put a covering on it, and we'll call that garbage. So your surname is nothing more than a garbage over top of what your real true name or what you are from God. So, but they want you to believe in it, so you will basically be out there on a doomsday clock that Satan is aware of, and those at the top end of this suicidal scene that you see going on worldwide with placing something foreign in your body, because basically it is all garbage. So they want to put garbage in your body. They put garbage in your food. They put garbage in the water supply. We flush our toilets, and then people draw what? They draw that same water after what they completely think has been pure filtration, which is nothing. They draw that same thing back in. All the pharmaceuticals, all the pharmakia goes into the water supply, which is what your body is made of, and then you pull it into your body and drink it. So the city areas are basically the homing zone or the target zone for the most stupid behavior I've ever seen. And the people that live there are quite content to continue being the cesspool of garbage. So the legal system run by the lawyers love the city areas. They love the central disease areas where they can control the major amount of population and where they can basically control the pro-pagan da. So we're in a very, very bad time frame in the history of man. You could end up being nothing more than the garbage thrown into their garbage dump when they're done with what is basically their final agenda. So be concerned on, are you prepared to be garbage?